So, thank you, Raman. Dear colleagues, I'm delighted to welcome you to the PHAIDRAcon today. I'm particularly pleased that we have been able to get some of our partners also to give a presentation today. PHAIDRAcon consists not only of today's presentations, but also of a series of podcasts focusing on different topics, and also a technical meeting that gives everyone from the partner institutions the opportunity to exchange ideas with each other. Our PHAIDRA family has grown considerably at the meantime, consisting not only of our cooperation partners, but also of the many users of PHAIDRA. When we started setting up a repository at the University of Vienna, we couldn't foresee how many tasks we would have to deal with and how colorful our so-called everyday life would be. But my colleague from the University of Vienna, Raman Ganguly, you heard him just before, will tell you more about this. Before I give an overview of 15 years of PHAIDRA, I would like to thank all those who have contributed to the whole topic of repository management, and especially those who have contributed to this event, especially Raman Ganguly, Eva Gergely, my colleagues Sonja Edler and Victoria Eisenheld, and also Rory MacDonald, who is here and who will talk a little bit later, and also Ben van Tende. Dear all, many thanks. So I would like to start now with my presentation. Yes, it works. Okay. So let us now delve a little into the history of the PHAIDRA repository, and we will start with the milestones. It's a short overview of the topics now. And let's start with the milestones. In 2006, there was a working group at the University Library of Vienna for the implementation of a digital repository and a long-term archiving system. 2007, the Digital Asset Management System project starts at the University Library of Vienna in cooperation with the Central IT Service. 2008, the repository PHAIDRA goes online at the University of Vienna in April 16, a cooperation between the University Library and the Central IT Service. 2010, we started with the PHAIDRA partnership, and the University of Padua, some people from Padua here today, and the University of Applied Arts in Vienna became partners of PHAIDRA. And PHAIDRA became partner of the Open Air project, the research and innovation funding program of the European Union. And here you can see a folder of 2008. It was quite our first folder, I think. Presentation in German, that's in German, PHAIDRA and the services. And on the next slide, you can also see a poster from 2010. So we started to explain what PHAIDRA means and what a repository project means. In 2011, we were partner of the European project Tempus in cooperation with several universities in the Western Balkans region, and PHAIDRA became a partner of the Europeana Libraries project. 1 year later, 2012, EU Scholar went online as an add-on of PHAIDRA for the publications, and PHAIDRA was a partner of the Open Air Plus project, and also the Digital Asset Management System, UNIDAM, was separated from PHAIDRA. Now it's a part of our PHAIDRA services. In this year, PHAIDRA started a membership in CORE, the International Confederation of Open Access Repositories. And 1 year later, we had new PHAIDRA partners like the University Tuzla. I think you can read it. I can't pronounce it, so I'll let you read. Some other universities from Serbia, And also the Vorarlberg library became a PHAIDRA partner. 2014, we started the E-Infrastructures Austria project, initiated from the Federal Ministry of Science, Research and Economy, which was intended to promote the coordinated establishment and further development of repository infrastructures throughout Austria. The expertise provided by PHAIDRA is used here. The next slide, you can also see a poster from 2012, and on this slide you find information for users from 2013. So we reach the year 2015. PHAIDRA consultations on data management plans started at the University of Vienna, and the Università Ca' Foscari di Venezia and the Istituto Universitario di Architettura di Venezia became PHAIDRA partner. And PHAIDRA was a partner of the Horizon 2020 project LEARN, which implemented a roadmap for research data management of the League of European Research Universities. And in this year also we integrated the PHAIDRA object in the Bielefeld Academic Search Engine code base. 1 year later, 2016, we founded the WebManet, the Repository Managers Network Austria. PHAIDRA became a partner of Open Education Austria, which is a project of Austrian universities for the joint development of a national infrastructure for open educational resources. And we also became a partner of Kulturpool Austria. It's a portal for art, culture, education, and we also became a partner of Europeana. And we had the organization of CORE annual conference at the University Library of Vienna, and we also, I think we also were here in this room. And we had also new partners, the Art University Linz, the Art University Graz, and the FWF, the Austrian Science Fund. So we have now 2015. We started with consultation of data management plans in our university also, and I'd like to go to the next slide. You find also another information about PHAIDRA of the year 2016. And this was our card from 2017. And in this year, we also became partner of the project Infrastructures Austria Plus. And we started with training and workshops for long-term archiving data management and also data management plans. And the network Code for Research was founded. We had also new partners like the University of Veterinary Medicine in Vienna and also the University of Continuing Education Krems. And the private university and Anton Bruckner. They're all partners of PHAIDRA. 1 year later, 2018, we had the launch of the European Science Cloud at the Vienna University Library. And the University of Applied Science, St. Pölten, also became PHAIDRA partner. And on the next slide, you find another poster from PHAIDRA to explain open approach for the repository infrastructure at the University of Vienna. We are now in the year 2019. We had 1 million objects now in our repository PHAIDRA, and we started with Transcribus, a tool for research support. And 2020, we started with research data management in Austria, as the series began. And we started with PHAIDRAcon', Raman just said before. And we also became a partner of the project Fair Data Austria. And 1 year later, we integrated the U-thesis, where our theses were separated from the PHAIDRA before, and now they are inside of PHAIDRA. And we also started the integration of PHAIDRA objects into the library search engine. And 2022, the Academy of Fine Arts became also a PHAIDRA partner. You see, we have many PHAIDRA partners now. And this is another presentation of our research support services in our university and in our library with our PHAIDRA-Services from 2022. And this year we had a new interface with new functionalities for the PHAIDRA repository at the University of Vienna. And we had also 3 new institutions as PHAIDRA partners: the Carinthia University of Applied Science, the Gustav Mahler Private University for Music, and also the University College of Christian Churches of Teacher Education, Vienna in Krems. And we are partner now of the project Shared RDM Services until the end of 2026. And there are 2 more folders and posters. So in recent years, the term FAIR has kept us very busy. We are lucky because the data in PHAIDRA was aligned with the FAIR principles from the outset. The findability, accessibility, interoperability, and also usability of the data is a matter of course for us. Right from the start, we also placed great value on well-structured and detailed metadata. Even when the data management plan was made mandatory by Austria's largest funder, the FWF, in 2019, we were well prepared and were able to offer PHAIDRA as a secure archiving option with a clear conscience. Apart from technical developments, some changes were also made in the area of services. The idea that one repository would suffice for all of the University of Vienna's data proved to be impractical. Therefore, different storage options such as shares, cloud solutions, internal databases, and so on are offered separately. The non-erasability of the data was also repeatedly questioned. And in projects involving personal data, such as medical data, it is often essential to delete the data after a certain period of time and to document this deletion process. We have worked closely with researchers from the outset, which was also proved by the very favorable when advising research projects. This enables us not only to support the archiving of data, but also to offer numerous other tools and support. You can see them on the slide. However, I also don't want to hide the fact that there were also wrong turns and detours, and that there is often not just one path that leads to the goal. Although the visibility of metadata, even if the data itself is blocked, is in line with the FAIR principles. It is not ideal for sensitive data. Even in the case of highly competitive studies, no information about the work may be made public. Solutions outside the general repository are offered here. With regard to the individual upload of objects, it has been shown that a bulk upload is absolutely necessary for projects and collection data. In practice, these requirements are discussed with those responsible, and either an existing solution is adapted or an individual strategy is developed together. While question about archiving PHAIDRA took central stage at the beginning of the repository, interest shifted until well before the data was uploaded. The questions asked by project managers and employees primarily concerned the possibility of storing the data during the project period, technical, legal, and increasingly also ethical issues. The needs and questions have changed for several reasons. One major reason is the development of technical possibilities. Mobile devices, such as smartphones and tablets, are increasingly being used during the research process. Handling these devices requires specific knowledge about formats that are also suitable for the long-term storage of data. You can see a small insight in our page in our website of PHAIDRA-Services. With the introduction of data management plans and the requirements of international and national funding organizations, researchers were suddenly required to have knowledge that many of them didn't initially have. The awareness of sustainable research in which the data is also available for other research projects and other researchers had to be developed gradually. The question of how to handle sensitive data also became the focus of many researchers, particularly as a result of the discussion surrounding the General Data Protection Regulation. One question that is always topical is how to deal with the flood of digitized data, but also how to digitize important documents as quickly as possible. As the closure of libraries and archives during the pandemic has shown how dependent some research disciplines are on the accessibility of analog sources. The increasing professionalization of data handling also required, for example, the use of persistent identifiers such as DOI for publications, and in some cases for data as well as identifiers for the researchers themselves, such as the ORCID ID. The demand for open access has existed for publications for some time, and the pressure for open and free availability of data is increasing. Fair data principles are familiar to most academics, at least as buzzwords, and also benefit their own research. This is because both the findability and accessibility of data is essential for a research process that is geared towards internationality and transdisciplinarity. The exchangeability of data and metadata is becoming increasingly important, as is the reusability of research output. In order to fulfill all these requirements as far as possible, we have considered several strategies. I have to look at my watch. So, the first one is networking. Due to the fact that a total of 22 institutions in Austria, Italy, Serbia, and so on are currently using PHAIDRA, an interested community has formed that is intensively involved with the requirement of different user groups of repositories. Internationally, we are connected to several networks and are active in various working groups, including CORE and OpenAIR. The Network for Repository Managers, RepManet, founded in 2016, also offers space for a lively exchange with all those interested in repositories from all over Austria and abroad. Here too, working groups deal with various topics such as questions about metadata according to the FAIR principles, certification options, the handling of research data in practice or accessible repositories. Internal university networks such as the Code for Research Network for Sustainable Software Development has also been set up to get in closer contact with researchers. The second point is participation in international and national projects in addition to some European projects, such as Europeana or OpenAIR. We also participate in the Kulturpool, we just heard it, in order to make our object as widely available as possible. However, national projects such as Infrastructures Plus also offered very good opportunities for exchange and provided important impetus for further developments in the technical and administrative areas. After participating in the Fair Data Austria project, we are now part of shared ADM services. Third point, continuous exchange with funding bodies. As funding bodies are increasingly focusing on the reusability of research results, forcing researchers to place data in a repository, coordinating between repository operators and funding bodies makes sense. Fourth, staying in touch with researchers. Continuous contact with researchers is, of course, essential, as this is the only way to find out which data management services are really needed. Cooperation with IT. It goes without saying that constant cooperation with technicians is just as important. Only by working together can we guarantee that topics are implemented in the way that scientists need them. And anchoring the service in our own institution. Last but not least, it's important to anchor the repository well within your own institution and to network it with other services, such as the research service. As you can see from this slide, we have a number of stakeholders inside and outside our institutions. So we see the funder and the legal framework, we see inside the university, the Center for Teaching and Learning, the library, the computer center, the research center, but also the students and the research and teaching staff, and of course also the doctoral student services. And now I'd like to ask, what have we learned? So I think there are some points we have learned. First, providing a system is usually not enough. Additional services are also needed that are well and above all constantly advertised and presented. All services, such as repositories or other archiving options, should be as open and accessible as possible, but at the same time, of course, secure. Once established, services require constant adaptation and revision. The various stakeholders should always be involved in good time, as this saves many a diversion. Despite the justified demand for open access and open science, it should not be forgotten that there are also research areas such as medicine, in which sensitive data is produced, that must be protected accordingly. The demand for the long-term availability of data is offset by the secure deletion of data, which must also be met. The diversity of the data also requires the widest possible variety of offerings. One system for all cases is hardly sufficient for larger institutions. Researchers often require not only technical support, but above all assistance in archiving the data. The focus there is primarily of the descriptions, the so-called metadata. The issues of operability and usability should not be underestimated. And today's researchers are used to speed and intuitiveness with tools. For this reason, familiar standards should not be dispensed within repositories either. Keep up to date and being innovative is also essential. To summarize, it can be said that repositories are an important tool for efficient data management, like the associated services. They must grow and develop in line with the needs of researchers. This is precisely where the challenges lie. So what do our experience show? Sorry, I didn't realize that I forgot to show you the next. So, in collaboration, ongoing collaboration between the researchers and technicians and librarians is important. Researchers must be actively involved in considerations relating to research data management and also the development of repositories. I think I'm the wrong, no, it's the wrong way, sorry. So this is the right one. Resources. Sufficient human and financial resources must be available to guarantee stable and comprehensive research data management. Flexibility. The existing systems and repositories need to be highly flexible. It must be possible to adapt these again and again if necessary. This applies to the technology and the metadata schemas. Diversity. Different technical solutions must be provided for different requirements. In addition to long-term archiving, deletion options or sufficient storage space for researchers should be available. Framework conditions. Additional suitable framework conditions must be created, for example, policies that regulate processes. Customization. The repository and the services offered must be embedded in the existing system landscape. Communication. Especially in large and heterogeneous institutions, it is important to advertise the service accordingly. Openness. Openly accessible interfaces enable rapid exchange with other systems. Networks. Collaboration with research data managers from other institutions enables joint activities and a lively exchange. Usability. Last but not least, usability determines whether the repository is accepted or not. This means that repository operators must keep up to date with technical and also social developments. User orientation. It is important to know what users needed in terms of technology and services. Curiosity. Have an interest in research in the respective disciplines, in recent technical and socio-political developments in order to offer suitable services. And groundedness. You should be able to assess what can be implemented when and with what means, because empty promises annoy users. I think that we are doing the right thing now with PHAIDRA. On the one hand, this can be seen in the many projects. You can't read it, I know. We are involved in, so there are many projects now in PHAIDRA. These are also a small insight in these projects with our featured collection. And on the other hand, we have many institutions that have joined the PHAIDRA community now and thinking ahead with us, which is of course very enriching for us. And a nice development at our university is the implementation of the data steward model. Right after me, the first 3 data stewards will report on their experience of working with researchers. So the partners. So, and first of all, I would like to thank you for your attention, and I look forward for your questions. Thank you very much. I'm waiting for Raman. Yeah? Is that... Okay.
Alles Gute zu 15 Jahren PHAIDRA.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think later we can take a small piece of this, and then we can also enjoy this birthday cake. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Susanne. Thank you for the nice overview what have been done in 15 years of PHAIDRA. So it's quite a long time. Are there any questions? I will come with the mic if somebody has a question.
Hello, I'm from University of Applied Sciences, St. Pölten. Just one question. You mentioned that you are having these applications, transcribers and so on, within your working environment. Since we are users as well, is there a possibility to apply this to us as well?
I think yes. It's a pity that Martin Gastein is not here today. He's ill, but he's handling this transcribus, and I think there will be a possibility to join. Let us talk next week or so on.
So there is a possibility.
I think so. Yes.
Have a talk and kind of integrate this in our environment as well. Okay. That's enough. Thank you.
So, as we have seen in this 15 years, there have been a lot of new involvement, and it's not only about repositories. So, for this, I have also a question for you.
Yes.
When you are this person who have seen everything what's happened with PHAIDRA, and you were right from the beginning. So I joined 2011. But you was right from the beginning. And my question to you was your first expectation when you started with something like called a repository?
It's a good question, because when we started in 2007, we had the expectation that we build up a repository, and everybody in the university is waiting for this repository, and will put in everything the people have of data. So we expected it. We thought that when the repository was online 1 year later, 2008, we waited that the people came to us and put their data in the repository, but nothing happened. Mainly nothing happened. So few people realized that they have now the possibility to archive their data there. And some of them thought, maybe that's not yet, maybe a year later or so on. Yes, that was our expectation. So we thought we now brought the repository to the world, but nothing happened, mainly nothing.
Yes, yes. Sorry.
Yeah, my question would be then, Josef Anibus from Carinthia, University of Applied Sciences. My question then would be, what was the biggest, let's say, step that made PHAIDRA so successful? So when was the, I don't know, the main driver, the main, I don't know, a big step where you said, okay, now this is really going forward?
I think there were many steps, little steps. One big step was, I think, that the funder realized how worthful data are, and they said you have to put the data in a repository. So, and you have to fill in a data management plan. And from this point on, they had to do so, the researchers. But I think in reality there were many small steps in the right direction. So like the usability and the trustness and so. And we talked with many people, with many stakeholders in the beginning, and convinced them that PHAIDRA is secure and they should trust the repository.